All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on Patriot Confederation, we're going to be joined by Steve Tanner. He's the part of the Idaho House of Representatives, District 13, Seat B. You're not going to want to miss this. Please don't nobody go nowhere.
This is the Patriots Prayer Network, where truth matters.
The following is a presentation of AOW Productions.
The views and opinions expressed by the host of this program do not necessarily state or reflect those of this station or its management.
Every patriot has an obligation to question authority. Those who are honest are not concerned with your watchful vigilance, and those with integrity are not concerned with your discernment. Every American is obligated to voice their concerns and stand up for their freedoms and liberties.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the men in the arena. We are the Patriot Confederation.
We will never back down from a fight. We're undefeated Americans.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Patriot Confederation for the 3rd of September, 2024. Here we are. It's already September, and we are only 2 months away from the big day in November. Oh, my goodness. I'm your host, Bad Billy from Twin Falls, Idaho, joined by John Grosvenor out of Nashua, New Hampshire, New England area. What's going on up there, brother?
Same old here, Billy. We do have our primary September 10th. It's next Tuesday. Looking forward to that. So I can cast some votes for hopefully our next governor. And yeah, you're right, man. November's coming up quickly. Right after that, man, I think all the primaries will be over and we'll be into that general election big time.
Yes, indeed. So joining us via the phone this week, we have Steve Tanner. He is part of the Idaho House of Representatives, District 13, Seat B, which I do believe is the city of Nampa. He can correct me if I'm wrong. Steve, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say something up front. So far, I'm the candidate for District 13, Seat B. I have won the primary, and of course, the general's not until November.
Okay, you actually answered my question before I had a chance to ask it too, because I was looking at the polls there from the primary back in May, and you already beat your Republican opponent, but I don't see a Democratic opponent for you, so it looks like you were unopposed.
I am unopposed, and that's correct. I did win against the incumbent. I was in the three-way race. And by God's hand, I won.
Interesting. Yeah, hey, beating an incumbent is hard to do, but within our own Idaho government, we've had our own rhinos that we're dealing with. A lot of them we voted out of office, including when you look at the Magic Valley here, Linda Hartgen. I couldn't be happier to get her out of office and bring in Josh Cole, he speaks from his heart like the true conservative that I believe him to be, where I've watched her speak like a so-called conservative, but vote like a Democrat. So yeah, I'm happy to see her going away. And there's been some changes and some people are waking up, and I think that's great. And it sounds like I really can't speak intelligently on the House of Representatives in Canyon County there, but and I don't know what to say about your opponent, but the fact that you beat the incumbent tells me that they didn't really vote as a conservative should.
Well, it's really interesting. I think our district, and you're correct, District 13 is it's about half of Nampa. We're about the eastern half of Nampa. If you were to take Nampa and divide it in half down the 12th Avenue and Garrity, north and south, the eastern half would be District 13. But in District 13, we have Brent Crane, and we have Brian Linney, and then myself coming up in November. And I think we're a pretty conservative group in District 13 now. So we're feeling pretty happy about that. I know that in the primary, the conservatives really they wore out their shoe leather to get out there and just do some door knocking. And we were out at the farmers market nearly every Saturday, and just a lot of different things that we were doing, to get the word out about the election. And we were successful.
Yes, we were. Our candidates here in the Magic Valley were doing the exact same thing, and I think that really attributes to the big victory that the Idaho conservatives had in May. And of course, if you're a Republican, it's the primary that you got to worry about, because once you get to the general election, it's pretty much a done deal. And then in your case, especially since you're running unopposed, so I mean,
right,
you got it locked and stocked. So yeah, you're what are people going to do how can you lose if maybe somebody writes somebody else in? And I really don't see that happening either.
No, I don't either. I mean, they do have the option to write in, but they'd have to do a lot of write-ins.
Yeah. Then again, the way Democrats cheat, you cannot underestimate them. You cannot. Oh my goodness. No, I mean, I wouldn't lie if I was going to say I'm actually pretty nervous coming up this November, because, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories I've heard myself, people coming up with whatever, and we seen what happened in 2020. So I'm just thinking we'll have to wait and see what happens. And, I think we have to be very, very vigilant come that time, though. So anyway, with you about ready to take office as a new elected candidate, what are some changes you think you want to bring to the Nampa area?
Well, one thing, some of the big issues that I'm concerned about, a lot of different issues. Let me just speak first to, why I even ran in the first place. I think
please do.
Why I ran in the first place is because a lot of what happened in 2020, with the COVID pandemic or pandemic, if you want to think of it that way.
I always have.
Yeah, and the vaccine mandates, the way that when we saw people that were arrested for worshiping outside their church up in Moscow, just how our basic freedoms were just squashed, during that time, and then not to mention the election itself in 2020, what happened there. Then when I was getting involved locally, and I saw how our local representative, the incumbent that I ran against, how he was voting, I was even more motivated to run for office. So that's why I got into this position in the first place. Now, what I want to be sure. For instance, I talked about the 2020 election. I want to do a lot of work and see what we can do to increase election integrity, especially now that we have this challenge, the Proposition 1.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we have to do a lot to make sure that our elections are secure. Even if we, even if Proposition 1 gets defeated, there's still a lot that we need to do to tighten up our election security.
Oh yeah, there's a lot we need to do for sure. And I mean, this is just Idaho we're talking about here. I mean,
Right.
I can't begin to imagine swing states, and it's like Michigan is for a good example there. Even though we saw Kamala Harris just held a rally out there, and people really didn't bust down the doors to go see her. She had somewhat of an audience, but nothing overwhelming like what Trump gets.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that election integrity is a big concern now for every state, regardless of what political aisle you're on. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, we have to be assured that our vote matters, and that the way we vote is what gets recorded, and that there's no foul play. Without that, what assurances do we have that we even have a constitutional republic anymore?
Yes.
So absolutely essential.
Yes. So we're just a little over 3 minutes away from our first break that we have to hit. But before we do, John, you got any questions?
Yeah, I was sitting there wondering to myself, with corruption the way it's been, you're talking about election voting and stuff and what happened in 2020. But you also see other forms of corruption in government. How do you feel about that? And as an elected official, what are you looking at in regards to corruption? What may you be able to prevent?
Well, I'm not aware of too much corruption in Idaho per se. At the federal level, sure, I think we could talk about a lot of different things. But in Idaho, I'm not able to point to any one thing. Without I know I've heard of some things, but I don't have firsthand knowledge of them, so I don't want to speak about them. But a big area of concern, maybe potential, is we have Medicaid in Idaho, which came in as on an initiative ballot a while ago, and now it's grown to be the largest government expenditure in Idaho, and so health and welfare is just this huge agency in Idaho, and there's all kinds of money flowing into that agency. I wonder sometimes how much auditing we are actually doing. That's going to be one of my first things to find out, is how much auditing are we actually doing, especially on these big beefy programs like Medicaid.
So you do have some ideas then. And you also, it sounds to me like you're looking for that kind of relationship with your constituents where if they know something, bring something forth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, well, we got about a minute. So, Proposition 1, we're gonna dig deeper into this too, but this is just definitely it's a way to try to flip the state blue. I know that, and with I know that when it comes to people moving to Idaho from other states, like California is a big one right there. A lot of them are conservatives who basically are tired of living the communist hellhole that Gavin Newsom has created. But of course, when they get here, a lot of them don't even do research. And like, for instance, I had a neighbor who did move here from California for the very reason that I just stated. But it was the 2018 midterm election, and he told me, I don't know anything about any of the candidates, but if they had an R next to their name, I just marked them down. And that's part of the problem we have here. But it is time to go to our first break. And Steve, I definitely want to hear your response to that. And we're gonna dig into Proposition 1, ranked choice voting. So with that said, we'll be back in 2 minutes.
There's a saying that war is hell. My war was losing my brothers to the enemy.
So Thomas, what brings you in today?
I'm missing my brothers, Don. They were the only family I had.
What if I told you you're not alone, Thomas? I know this is gonna come off cheesy, but what if I said there's a website where you can go to, fill out this form, and you wait?
It's a fight club.
It's not a fight club. It's a brotherhood.
So, what exactly do you guys do around here?
Well, Thomas, technically on paper, what we do at Tactical Brotherhood is support America. We are on the front lines, supporting Americans. We are determined to find something worth being proud of in each and every aspect of our military, starting with the men and women who serve this great country. Our mission is to unite like-minded individuals, such as yourself, to come together and find something worth celebrating in America. That's what it says on our website. So are you in or out, Thomas?
I'm in. Welcome aboard, brother.
Here at Brighteon and BrighteonStore.com, we've made it our mission to help you and your loved ones be prepared for any emergency, which is why we are dedicated to bringing you a wide selection of ultra-clean and lab-verified superfoods, supplements, preparedness items, and other health products. So support your health and this free speech platform by shopping at BrighteonStore.com today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Once again, we are joined by Steve Tanner, who is, I'm just going to say, since he's running unopposed, he's basically the next, holding the next seat for Idaho State Legislature, District 13, Seat B. Basically, you can consider that yours, especially if you're, number one, you're a Republican, number two, you're unopposed. I mean, so like I said, that's a sealed deal for you. But yeah, I wanted to get your reaction to what I stated before we went to break there.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that what you described is very common. I'm one of those people that left California, because I didn't want to live what was happening there. I watched California change from a conservative state to what it is today. And so I moved to Idaho, and, I was surprised to find out that, once I got here and started to really look around, that there were different shades of red here, put it that way. And I agree with you. There are a lot of people that just move here and they just figured they're in a red state and that's good enough. And like you say, if they see an R next to somebody's name on the ballot, then they just vote for it. That's why the primary voting is so critical here in Idaho.
Yes. I mean, Senator Zito almost told me we almost had red flag laws being passed here in Idaho because of somebody who simply stated all I had to do was put an R at the end of my name, and that's how we got this thing to pass. So definitely we got the rhinos here. It's like an infestation, and it's time to call in the exterminators. And of course, this rank choice voting, Proposition 1. Now, John, you remember last week when we were talking to Jack Hall, they have issue 1 out of Ohio. Basically, that, that's very different than what's the way they have Proposition 1, but still it's kind of similar in a way to turn a red state blue. But Steve, could you go into more of a description? Because honestly, somebody else, when I talked to somebody else about ranked choice voting, he said all ranked choice voting does is confuse the voters. And I'm looking at it and I find it very confusing. Can you break that down the best you can, please?
Well, let me describe Proposition 1. So what Proposition 1 is, actually there's two pieces to it. There's the primary piece, what happens during the primary, then there's ranked choice voting, which happens during the general election. So it's been marketed in Idaho here as open primaries. In fact, out in the farmers markets and different places, the people that were out there collecting the signatures, because it was, like I say, it was an initiative, went through the initiative process. The people collecting signatures were, marketing this as open primaries, and they weren't really even mentioning the ranked choice voting part of it. But if you get into Proposition 1, you find out it's not a true open primary, what they're offering. In fact, if you read Proposition 1, they never use that term open primary. They call it top four primary. So the way that it's set up in Idaho is really more a jungle primary. Is that it just puts everybody, regardless of their party affiliation, into onto one ballot. So anybody can vote for anybody, regardless of party affiliation. And that's not what an open primary is. An open primary is that, let's say if I wanted to go vote on the Democratic ballot, I could just go in and request the Democratic ballot. But it's the Democratic ballot, right, that I'd be voting on. What Proposition 1 proposes is, having everybody, regardless of party affiliation, in one column. And that really is a jungle primary, what they call a jungle primary. So you'll have independents, you'll have non-affiliated, you'll have Republicans, Greens, constitutionals, all in one column. And whoever the top four vote getters are, they're the ones that advance to the general election. So that's why they call it top four primary. And this is going to be for everybody who's running for a county or state level office or federal. Now, precinct committee people, oddly, are going to continue to have primaries the way that we've always done them. So, talking about the top four primaries, the top four vote getters advance to the general election, and that's where you have ranked choice voting. So what ranked choice voting, the way that it works is you'll be able to select up to four people. You don't have to select all four, but you can select up to four people, and you rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you're a person in the first round of voting, they tabulate everybody. If nobody has 50% plus one, then nobody's the winner. So that's when ranked choice voting kicks in. If there is, that person who has the simple majority, then they automatically win, and ranked choice voting doesn't happen. But when ranked choice voting happens, instead of having like a plurality winner, like what we have today, in the first round, after they tabulate everybody, that first, whoever came in last place, they're taken off the ballot, but their second choice pick is then reallocated. So whoever their second choice, pick was, then that gets reallocated around, and then it gets added again, and then so on until you have somebody who has the 50 plus one, or it's the last two people, and whoever the winner is, then that's the winner. But you're right, it's confusing, and it's all done by an algorithm. It takes away the one person, one vote idea. You often end up with people who win who might have been your third choice. And what's really bad is that for people who feel they might go into the voting booth and there may be like one conservative and 3 Democrats, and three liberal people. And if you go into the booth, and you say, you vote for you're a conservative person, but you end up ranking the others. If your conservative loses, then you end up effectively voting for a liberal Democrat.
Wow, this just sounds like nothing more than a mess. I mean, I mean, we've heard the old phrase: if it's not broken, don't fix it. Our system, the way we have it, number one, okay, did we really need to go to computerized ballots? No, we didn't need Dominion or anything like that. I think we did fine on paper ballots. So, I mean, there's one thing, and now they want to introduce some kind of mess like this, or the kind of mess that they want to do out in Ohio. Wow. Yes.
I totally agree with you. I don't see any reason why all of Idaho isn't on paper ballots. Where I came from, California, the county that I came from, the population and like the voting population is probably the same size of all of southern Idaho. And we did it when the last election that I voted there, we voted on paper, and we knew the results that night. So what is the impetus for being on machines in Idaho? I'd be very much in favor of going back to paper. But if we're going to use machines, if we have to use machines, we really need to tighten up what we understand about what these machines are doing. I'm surprised to find that we have almost no really effective auditing for the machines that we're even currently using. And now we're going to talk about ranked choice voting. And you brought up the name Dominion. Dominion has positioned themselves as the premier company who's developed the software the most to manage this ranked choice voting. Mm-hmm. So they put themselves in the marketplace as the market leaders, for ranked choice voting. So for those states that bring that in, yes, we'll most likely be dealing with Dominion.
John, I saw the look on your face listening to all this too, and I see we got about 3 minutes before our bottom of the hour break. But
I'm sitting there listening to this, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, how many times are you going to vote to get a candidate in? I mean, does this mean that you're going every other day back to the polls to vote again, or is this all during one evening and you got to wait for them to count them, run back over there and vote again? Or, I mean, how does this work?
No, it's all done. It's all done by, it's called instant runoff. Another name for it is instant runoff because you vote once, but you rank 4 people. So the top 4 come out of the primary, right? So when you go to the general, you'll have a ballot and you'll see 4 names, for every position. And then you rank them.
Uh-huh.
So then the computers do the work. No, you don't have to go back over and over.
Okay, so you got 4 people. I just voted for 4 people, okay? And they all come in under 50% plus 1. So now they're going to eliminate the guy who got the least amount of votes. You got 3 candidates left out of the 4 that got it could have been like, I guess, 100 candidates, right? But it's going to be the 4 most picked, and then it's going to eliminate the one that's got the least. So now you got 3 candidates, and the computer is going to take these 3 candidates, keep doing a process of elimination based on algorithms. That's not even a human vote, is it?
That's how it's designed to work. Yeah. Oh
man, they got to stop this.
Yeah,
Comes out right here because I don't want computers doing my voting for me. This don't sound right.
No. It's it's kind of funny too. I remember it wasn't too long ago they wanted to introduce some kind of system too, to where you're not given a ballot. You go into this private booth, almost kind of like a Catholic confessional booth, where there's somebody else on the other end, and you tell them who you'd like to vote for, and they mark it down for you. Are you going to trust that?
Yeah. Why bother to vote it off? If we've lost people's concerns to vote, then I mean, it's kind of like I'm looking at your race there, Steve, and I seen you had won out of what, 5,000 votes? How many voters do you have registered in your district? That there was only actually 5,000 people that came out to vote.
About 12.
It's about 12,000 people, and of them, only 5,000 voted in the primary for your district.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right to me. Where are these voters? I mean,
yeah, it's true. It's just amazing to me seeing the times that we're in. I mean, there's so many ways in which our government and our country is really on very brittle ground. I mean, our economy is not good. Our currency is not good. We all know what's happening with the dollar. And just election wise, what a lot of us feel that we're facing. There's so many different ways, that we're being attacked, and like I say, we're out there at the farmers market. We're trying to talk to people, and there's so many people. You try to engage them, and they're just not interested. They just walk by. No thanks.
Yes. Well, let's definitely continue on that subject when we get back from our bottom of the hour break. So we'll be back in about 3.5 minutes. And when you're done, please check out our affiliates. And there's all kinds of neat stuff, especially Christmas is not that far off. And there's all kinds of Christmas ideas in here. So with that said, please don't nobody go nowhere.
Hey friend, do not forget to shop our affiliates. There's Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com or mystore.com and use the promo code OUTLAW to save up to 66% off your order, or possibly more if there's a special going on. Or call 1-800-652-3982 to place your order. There's also My Patriot Supply. Make sure you're prepared for the next unplanned emergency. Get yourself some food with a 25-year shelf life, water filtration systems, solar-powered equipment, and other essential goodies at My Patriot Supply. If you like cigars, there's Patriot Cigar Company. Go to mypatriotcigars.com and use the promo code OUTLAW to save up to 15% off your order. There's also We the People holsters for great inside the waistband and outside the waistband holsters, apparel, and other goodies at We the People holsters. Tactical Brotherhood offers merchandise that's veteran-owned and American-made. Your purchase with Tactical Brotherhood supports veteran organizations. Make your life easier and better with merchandise from the Caravan to Midnight store. At Concealed Carry, you can get news, purchase merchandise, obtain firearm safety training, and much more at Concealed Carry. Enroll in Red Pill University, where you can go beyond the matrix and learn what's really going on in the world. Protect your investments by investing in gold or silver from Noble Gold Investments. Silver Lining Herbs offers a wide range of herbal supplements for horses, dogs, and people. Harness the natural benefits of herbs to support the health of your beloved animals, as well as your own health. Visit silverliningherbs.com and use the promo code OUTLAW to save on your order. Support your health and be prepared for any emergency in the Brighteon Store, and shop from a wide selection of ultra-clean and lab-verified superfoods, supplements, preparedness items, and other health products. Elevate your heart health with Cardio Miracle, a nitric oxide supplement that promotes and sustains the body's natural production of nitric oxide. Visit cardiomiracle.com and use the promo code OUTLAW to save on your order. Check out the Folium PX line of antioxidant supplements: Folium PX, Folium Relax, and Folium Immuno. Visit FOLIUMPX.com and use the promo code OUTLAW to save on your order. In the RNC Store, a service of the Richardson Nutritional Center, find quality natural health supplements to improve your wellness. Visit rncstore.com and use the promo code OUTLAW to save on your order. At Patriot's Cave, buy apparel, hats, drinkware, and other cool stuff for the real American patriot. At Mammoth Nation, shop American and veteran-owned merchants and get exclusive discounts. Use promo code TIBN, the number 4, USA. Where do you go for children's books with a Christian conservative perspective minus the woke nonsense? Brave Books. That's where. Use promo code TIBN, the number 4, USA. The links for all of the affiliates mentioned here can be found in the description of this video, or visit thebeardedpatriots.com/affiliates. Again, all of the links for all of the affiliates mentioned in this video can be found in the description of this video, or go to thebeardedpatriots.com/affiliates. See you there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, joined once again by Steve Tanner, of course, who's going to be holding the seat B in District 13, Idaho House of Representatives. Now, Steve, I want to ask you, for those that are for Proposition 1, how are they trying to sugarcoat it? Because I've only been listening to like-minded people like you and like John who would oppose this. But for somebody who's for Proposition 1, how are they going about sugarcoating it to make it look good?
Well, before I answer that, can I just go back to finish the thought?
Absolutely, go ahead.
About Proposition 1. I just want to say a couple other negatives about Proposition 1 are it'd be a logistical nightmare to implement. Rick Hogelboom, who's the county clerk for Canyon County, has come out and said, it just would be a logistical nightmare, to implement it. Secondly, it would cost Idaho. Phil McGrain, Secretary of State, has stated that he estimates that it will cost somewhere around $40 million. Taxpayers $40 million to implement this. It would require counties who are still on paper ballots, who don't even use machines at all, to go out and buy machines. We mentioned Dominion before, so they very likely would have to buy Dominion machines in order to implement it.
No.
Those are a couple more of the negatives. As far as the question of how are people sugarcoating it, well, a couple of things that I've heard is they're using the term open primaries, which is a misnomer. And by the way, that is the basis of Attorney General Raul Labrador's suit, against having open primaries beyond the ballot. But like I said, they've called it open primaries because it sounds, more inclusive. More people will be able to vote. They're making claims that military people are somehow shut out of the elections now. They're making claims that more people will be eligible to vote. People who aren't somehow eligible today, and none of these things are true. For instance, people who are non-affiliated or independent, they could change their affiliation and vote for whoever they want to. So nobody's being kept out of voting at all. Another claim that I've heard is that it'll by using ranked choice voting, people will be able to see the real support that candidates that. The support that candidates really have, and the punctuating really. Because they say, if they get the second or third chance, then you can see, what their accumulated support really is. And my response to it is that's not true in the first round. The real support was what you saw in the first round. So if they came in fourth place or third place in the first round, they did not have support and they lost.
I can already hear a rebuttal being thrown at me if I was to tell somebody, the system we have in place works just fine. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And somebody who's for this is going to say, oh, you're just afraid of change.
You Luddite, you.
Yeah. Then of course, then if you don't like it, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, or you're a climate denier, whatever they want to throw at you anymore. These ridiculous things they want to do. But No, it does not. Like I say, it's not broken, does not need to be fixed, and ranked choice voting sounds like a disaster, and you have spelled it out perfectly and enough for me to understand what I need to know. I mean, I didn't like it before this conversation, Steve, and now I don't like it even more.
Yeah, it's a disaster. It's a disaster on a lot of different levels. And the biggest disaster is it tries to take your vote away from you and have a machine apply it someplace else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. So just on a scale of 1 to 10 or whatever. No, we don't need to apply that to our ballots. No.
And you know about the states that have already implemented it, like Alaska.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, and they just have had disastrous results, and they're trying very hard to get rid of it up there. There's been, I think there was a county in Virginia that implemented it, and they got rid of it the next year. Where it's been tried, it's a disaster.
Well, how could it not be a disaster? I mean, how can a machine determine based on your original vote how you would have redetermined your vote? I mean, come on, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard. What was that movie about where you were arrested based on the algorithms that you're about to commit a crime because of your previous actions or something like that? I mean, that's basically what they're talking about is guesswork.
Yeah, I think that movie was Minority Report, wasn't it?
That was it. That was the one. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing that movie, so I really wouldn't know. But let's see here.
James Toller's been commenting a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed. But,
yeah. He does say, "Congrats, Steve, on your primary victory."
Yeah, well,
thank you.
Well, we need people like Steve. So, I'm glad you're unopposed, even though I know a Democrat doesn't really stand a chance against you in Idaho. Still, I'm glad you're the candidate. But we are definitely we're almost to the last 15 minutes. We're going to take our final break here soon. But other than Proposition 1, which is a huge concern, are there other concerns that you wish to help correct as a member of the House of Representatives?
I'm very interested in education choice. Parents could find a way so that money can follow the students and not just automatically go to school districts. And so that's an area that I'm very interested in. There's going to be some challenges I think that come up. I think there'll be like a challenge to our current abortion law. So we need to stand firm on that.
Absolutely.
And in terms of taxes, I still I don't understand why we have a grocery tax. I really don't in Idaho. So
yeah,
I would like to see that go.
I mean, I'm a lifelong Idahoan, even though I took about a few years of my life and wandered the country, lived in different states, but living in those different states, I'm seeing, there's most of them, there's no sales tax on your groceries. In fact, I remember, because I used to go visit my mother every summer in Nevada, and I remember I was with one of my friends, and we went out and we bought some toys. We had a little bit of money. We bought some toys and we bought some candy. And of course, we're getting taxed on the toys, but we're not getting taxed on the candies. And I couldn't understand it. And they said you pay a tax on everything in Nevada except food. So, and I think Idaho should follow that suit.
especially now that we're looking at the rate of inflation that we are, and groceries,
oh yes,
going up. I mean, I go to the store now, and I maybe fill the bottom of the bottom of the cart, just so you can't see the bottom of the cart. I walk out of there, pay $140 just for that, and now I'm paying a tax on that, on the inflated cost of food.
I used to fill up a cart with a $20 bill, and how I miss those days.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our final commercial break. And when we come back, we'll wrap up the interview with Steve Tanner. Please don't nobody go nowhere.
Born in the coastal plains of South Texas, Smoking Gun Coffee is founded by combat veterans that know exactly what a cup of coffee needs to taste like. Run by father and son, each coffee bean is perfected, roasted at 500 degrees, and cooled with a Gulf Coast breeze. Smoking Gun Coffee hand makes and bags each ounce of coffee for maximum customer satisfaction. With every purchase, 10% goes back to organizations that help veterans and local communities. That's Texas made, one bag at a time. To find out more, go to www.smokingguncoffee.com.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, the buckle of the Bible Belt, home of the BOK Center, the Philbrook Museum, U.S. Route 66, and Red Pill Expo 2024, November 16th and 17th at the Renaissance Tulsa Hotel and Convention Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Can't make it to Tulsa? The expo will be live streamed and archived should you miss any of it. Red Pill Expo is the major public event of Red Pill University. The mission of the expo and the university is to bring together world-class experts to set the record straight on fake narratives, fake history, and fake news. At each and every Red Pill Expo, truth seekers unite to get a better understanding of how the world really works, a world where collectivism reigns. It's time for individualism and an open mind. Mark your calendars and make your plans now to attend Red Pill Expo 2024. Get more details and register today at redpillexpo.org.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and this is the final segment of the show, talking with Steve Tanner, of course. Once again, he is about to be your Idaho State representative for, you have to help me out because it already slipped my mind.
District 13B.
District 13B, yes. I don't know why the previous times I wasn't even looking at the paperwork and I remembered it, but it kind of slipped my mind there. Yes. One thing I think has really helped in this last primary is those who actually go out and they have the conversations, whether they have the conversations in person or they have the conversations in online. I'm going to give you a good example, Steve. So I already mentioned Linda Hartgen here, and I told you I wasn't happy with the way she's been running things for a while, and Josh Cole got my full support and, of course, got my vote. But Josh Cole is a young kid, and somebody else went to his page, and they judged him for the fact that, he looks like he's wet behind the ears, and that they were going to go ahead and vote for the incumbent. So I messaged the person on Facebook, and I said, what do you know about the incumbent? They said, no, they must be experienced. I said, I'm going to tell you what Linda Hartgen has done. She has supported keeping porn in school libraries and libraries in general, allowing minors to access it. She has support. She wants to give amnesty and voting rights and special privileges to illegal immigrants.
Right.
And she wants to, and the list goes on. She has voted with the Democrats. That's why I think you should give this kid a chance, because all Linda Hartgen is doing is hurting us. And that simple conversation and that dialogue that I built I honestly didn't look at his ballot, but he thanked me for the information, and I think I gave him a chance to think things over. And when it comes to Proposition 1, we need to have those same conversations and get that dialect going.
Yes, we only have 2 months, and we need to do everything we can do to just give Proposition 1 as much exposure as possible. I mean, to defeat it.
Yes.
Tell people what it really is, that it's not the sweet, rosy package that it's being presented to be.
Yes. I mean, look at the incumbents that we've had in the primaries, and look who they were backed up by. A lot of big corporations those corporations, of course, backed up by George Soros, the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, you name those evil elites. So it's basically that kind of trickle down effect right there, and like I said, I can't begin to say how happy I am to get these thugs out of office. And
right.
Of course, but we have a lot of work to do, and if we're going to clean up this country, we have to start at the local level.
Right. I absolutely, and I'm very big on the value of the precinct committee person. That position is so underestimated, but I think that's what has made the difference here. And certainly in my district, District 13, but also in other parts of Canyon County, we are building a base of precinct people that are active. They know what they think and what they believe, and they're out there knocking on doors and they're talking with people.
Now, no offense to you, but I have never really liked Nampa, to be honest with you. And my whole life, I've never liked it. And part of the reason is because it you turn on the news and it did seem to be one of the higher crime cities in the state of Idaho. Mind you, it's definitely not a New York or a Los Angeles, but a lot of bad things have happened ever since I was a little kid, have happened in Nampa that I can think of.
Are you trying to say Steve's from the wrong side of the tracks?
He's living in one of my least favorite parts of Idaho. I'll say that. I mean, but no, I'm glad he's there so he can help. He can help clean up the mess.
I was just going to say maybe we can work together to clean it up.
Yes, I mean, but I've heard about, like, when it comes to like drive-by shootings and things like that. A lot of that was happening right there in Nampa or Caldwell, and and now I'm thinking, like, look what's happening in Colorado with the Venezuelans. You realize the Venezuelans are going in Colorado. They're going to shopping malls, and they're charging people to park. Well, that's something they really have no authority to do, but they're doing it.
Let me ask how would that go over there in Idaho? If that happened in Idaho, how would people respond there, do you think?
You asking me or you asking Steve?
Either one of you.
Well,
it's a loaded question for Steve. I'm sure if somebody running for office, he may not want to answer that the same way somebody like you or I would.
Well, for one, I mean, considering that Idaho is, we're an open carry state, and I just don't see how they would fare well if they tried to impose their will on the citizens here. So I don't, I think it's flying over so well in Colorado is because, Denver has been declared a sanctuary city, and it's a bright blue state where I think even if they tried that in New Hampshire, it wouldn't go over so well. But You know,
Well, the thing about it is people have lost their spine so much. I can see some people rooting, like women rooting in their personal. Oh, I didn't realize, and complying with the stupidity. But there's some of us men out there who look at them and go, "Get away from me." And if they persisted, like they tried to do something, rash, I think they would find themselves with some serious bumps and bruises, to put it mildly. They might need the address to the local hospital.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I hope, Steve, I hope I haven't lost you. I can't hear anything in the background.
No, I was waiting for your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people deserve a defense? As an individual, have a right to defend themselves. These sorts of heinous actions there, Steve?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yes. Good answer.
Yeah, it seems crazy to me, but it only stops when men have a backbone again. We got a question there on your side of it, Billy. This guy, shouldn't you people be in jail? We're talking about the ones that should be.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever.
But we have. But also, I think we need to exercise our political will to make sure that our elected people, those who represented us, are enforcing the law.
Absolutely. That's a good answer right there. That's exactly right. We need the type of leadership where people stand up for the right things. You're absolutely right on that.
Right. Yes. And I think
we need to design laws that are enforceable, and then expect our law enforcement agencies to do the work.
Yeah. So if my only question to Nunyon is what would be the reason that what crime did we commit that we need to be put in jail?
Trump supporters. That's all it takes for these people with that mentality. Nunya, you get that right, Nunya? Like as a Nunya business or something?
Yeah, I get that. Yes. So we've got about 4 minutes left of showtime. But Steve, do you have a message not just for the people of your district, but for the people of the state of Idaho as well?
I especially, yes, just like I was just saying, exercise your political will, get active, pay attention to what's going on, pay attention to what is happening in our country. Look at Europe right now.
Oh yeah.
UK is a tinderbox. There's stuff going on in Germany, France, Sweden is another just tinderbox. Ireland's another tinderbox. There's so much tension because those countries have followed woke policies, and if we don't wake up, if we allow woke policies to take over here, that'll be us in 10, 15 years.
Oh man. Yeah. We're looking at 10, 15 years. Oh, it could be sooner too. I really feel that if we don't win this election, obviously, they're going to do what they can to keep Trump out. But if we have Kamala and plus the Democrats take over the Senate, we're done. We're done as a constitutional republic. Because you know what? It was pointed out to me yesterday by Radix Verum. The New York Times is putting out articles that the Constitution is dangerous.
I saw that.
Yeah. This is not good at all.
They do understand that document actually constitutes the country, right? It makes the country, brings it to existence.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, it's an insult to the very existence of America.
Yes. But we are definitely out of showtime here. Steve, listeners can find you even if they're listening outside of the state of Idaho. It's tanner4idaho.com, correct?
Steve Tanner for the number. That's the number 4. Yes. Steve Tanner4idaho.com.
All right. Well, Steve, I really appreciate your time. And even though you're running unopposed and the election is yours, I'm still going to say good luck and God bless you. We fully support you. And thank you for what you're doing for the state of Idaho.
Well, thank you for giving me the time. And yes, thank you all around.
Yes. And next week on tap is a show you're not going to want to miss. Somebody you're a little bit familiar with, John. We're going to be speaking with Peter Vodenka, the man who escaped communist Czechoslovakia.
That's a good guest.
Yes, so we're going to be speaking with him next week. Thank you very much for tuning in to Patriot Confederation. God save the Republic of the United States of America.
Events of recent history indicate that Americans are setting a course for the end of their own great nation. The ever-growing trend in this country is to judge people not by their individual character, but by their identity as a member of a specific group. No one has ever succeeded or failed in life as a result of their group affiliation. A person's success or failure is also not based on luck, but on the sum total of the decisions that they have made. Those who succeed do so through good work ethic and the wise use of their power to choose. The opposite is true of those who fail. The ideals of individual accountability and responsibility in the United States are dying every day. A gun cannot be responsible for a death, just as a shovel cannot be responsible for digging a ditch. Both are only tools and have no will of their own. Responsibility is an adjunct of conscious choice and is the price we pay for freedom. Freedom is also a tool. It's an essential tool that is needed by human beings if they are to prosper rather than to merely survive. Yet there are those who would rather trade their freedom for security. Some believe that it is the responsibility of government to provide freedom. In truth, we form government to ensure and protect the freedom that is already inherently ours.